At All Saints and St Andrews, our vision is this. We aspire to be a Christian family which is welcoming, thriving and growing, integrated into the life of the community around us and connected to the wider church locally, nationally and globally. Throughout 2024, 4 task groups have been meeting at regular intervals, each with an area of focus that the PCC felt would help to drive forward our vision in this present season. Now, last autumn, we reconvened for a day to hear where the Services Review Group, the Community Engagement Group, the Discipleship Review Group, and the Buildings and Tech Group had got to. Now, we've reached an important moment with several new initiatives underway and other significant commitments that we'd like to make, and I'd like to update you on those now. So what's already happening in fulfilment of this vision? The first answer to that question is an awful lot. For many years, our church community has been remarkably committed to a range of activities that foster the community within the church and which offers care and welcome to the wider village communities. Whether that's our existing small groups that meet week by week, our teams of volunteers that ensure our Sunday services are provided with welcomers and prayers, readers, musicians, teachers, all of which requires an extensive volunteer commitment. We have a regular presence at both village fetes each year. We have well-established active links with both our schools. We welcome toddlers to our Little Angels group at All Saints each week. We offer folks who find it hard to get out and about a chance to meet over lunch or tea at our fortnightly club on Thursdays. Now, these are only a few of the highlights. But on top of all of our programmed work, we rely on teams of people who come in to clean and maintain our premises and help out with various practical tasks to ensure that these activities can take place at all. And this is not to mention the many ways in which individuals from our congregations take time to care for each other and for their neighbours in a variety of ways. Now, I want to say a huge thank you and well done to everyone who's already committed to support Christ's kingdom work in the midst of all of these things. On March the 30th, at our United service at All Saints, we're going to be having a Gratitude Sunday, which is going to be a chance to acknowledge all the variety of ways that our church family is already giving and serving so wholeheartedly. But there are several new initiatives that have begun in the last year or so. Up at St Andrews, the freeing up of the church hall there has allowed the Fun and Fellowship group to start up as a new opportunity for the congregation to socialise and to invite friends along over a cuppa and cake and some fun and games. We have one new home group just beginning to form in a new part of Hordle, and we have another opportunity to try and get a St Andrews-based group off the ground as well soon, which we're actively working towards. At All Saints, we began a trial of a twice-monthly evening service back last September to offer a different, more contemporary form of corporate worship. This service, even in the darker months of autumn and winter, has consistently been as well attended as any other service in the parish and has welcomed new faces at every meeting since we started. In addition to these new activities, we've had some new leaders join in the last year. Firstly, our brand new appointment of a youth worker in Anya, who has spent her first year not only establishing her leadership in the existing youth and children's ministry, at Sunday services, at Rooted and in schools, but also beginning a new Tuesday evening youth Bible study for teens, as well as working on some big events like the Holiday Bible Club Wonder Zone that we're currently signing children up for at half term. We've also found in Simon Hones a new minister to look after St Andrews in particular, and after his first few months settling in, he's now actively beginning to consider what it looks like to further our vision in Tiptoe, and he's going to be working with the people of St Andrews to consider this over the coming year. So there's lots already to be thankful for, but we're not resting on our laurels. Over the year ahead, we will be continuing our process of review in different ways. Our Services Review Group will continue to discuss how our different services can be the best they can be. And we need to do further work to broaden our interactions with the wider community and ensure that all people from all walks feel welcomed at all our gatherings. We know we already have many people actively committed to these things, but we want to secure what is good and make it stronger. Now, as well as these things, the PCC has identified 3 big projects which have kept coming up in our discussions as getting in the way of some of these good initiatives. Firstly, anyone who has looked up when they've entered the foyer at All Saints will know how run down and unwelcoming that space is to visitors. And the attached church room is also very dark and cold. Now, there is an awful lot of useful work that could be done at All Saints to make the whole space of that church building more useful and inviting. But in the short term, at least, we want to freshen that foyer and church room space up with a lick of paint and some bits and pieces of work, whilst we consider the longer term improvements that might be useful. Similarly, the kitchen at St Andrew's Hall is a hindrance to hall users, with a cooker that regularly breaks down and with drawers and doors hanging off their brackets. Now, we want to address this as a priority too. And in All Saints Hall, we know there has been an increasing deployment of audio-visual equipment, particularly for use in all-age and evening services, as well as on other occasions. Currently, this requires floor space to be given over to the projector, with leads trailing across the floor and with the screen projected across the sloping ceiling tiles and spotlights, which is a less than ideal situation, and we can't currently offer this facility to third-party users. We've recently been able to make some improvements to the sound system, but we would like to install a retractable screen and a wall-mounted projector that can be easily used by a variety of hall users. Now, these exciting opportunities come on a backdrop of extremely tight finances and volunteer stretch. Again, people are giving and serving generously, but we are reaching the limits of our current capacity. And all of this points us towards the Gifts Day we will be having in February, because this, all the things we're doing and all the things we would like to develop require volunteers to sustain them, as well as some measure of finance. And of course, the fabric projects I've mentioned will need to be funded if they're going to go ahead. Our church family is already extraordinarily generous, but we need to ask you to review how you are committing yourselves, both in terms of financial giving and where you are serving. Now, this review is as much about how we give as it is about how much we give. For example, we've funded our youth worker as a 2-year project with some extraordinarily generous one-off gifts. But if we want to establish this post permanently, then we need our one-off gifts to move to regular giving in order to sustain the regular costs that ministry represents. Over the next few weeks, we will be issuing more information as to what the need is and why and how you might support that need. All I ask is that each of us take some time to consider what our individual response should be, prayerfully and honestly. Some of us have the gift of giving. Some of us have the gift of serving or of encouragement or leadership, and so on. Not all of us have any one particular gift, but I am convinced that each of us has more than one gift. We can all think of our time, our treasure, and our talents, and we can be praying over the question of how we use our time, our skills, or our finances for God's glory in our parish. And again, not all gifts are the same size, but all gifts make a real difference, even those that seem to us perhaps a bit smaller. For some of us, our greatest gift might be supporting the church's work with our prayers. In fact, I urge and encourage every one of us to commit this season to prayer in our own home lives. Bless you all for all the ways you are already supporting the life of the church. I hope you are as excited as I am to see what God might be about to do amongst us next. And stay tuned to hear more about how you might be part of that yourself.